Welcome to the real-time scenarios series. In this video, we are going to learn how we can calculate month-ending sales. So we may have data for every date in a month, but we are going to display only on month-ending date. Let's see how we can do it. I'll fetch the data from Excel, which is Superstore data. I'll select the same orders sheet. I'm directly clicking on load as I don't want to perform any data transformations as of now. Data has been loaded. Let's have a look at the data orders table. So if you see, I have order date and ship date, and I have sales column as well. I'm going to use order date column. If you click on this drop down and see the data, so data is ranging from 3rd January to 2019. Okay, so data exists for every date in a month, 3rd January, 4th January, and so on. But my client's requirement is to have data to be displayed only on month ending dates. That means 31st January, 28th February, 31st March, and so on. Okay, so even if we display these values on graph, the value should be only referring to the month ending date. It should not be accumulating the data on all the dates in that month. Instead, it should only consider the value which is exactly on month ending date. Okay, so that's what our aim now, and that's the requirement. Let's see how we can do it. Let's go to the canvas page. uh, Take a stacked column chart here. Okay, I'm adding the data. I'm adding order date on x-axis and sales on y-axis. Okay, when I click on sales, it by default gives some aggregation, but if you want to change, you can change that in the summarization option here if you want any other aggregation to perform. Okay, so for my case, I'm going to use sum, and I don't want this quarter. I also don't want day. So on x-axis, it should be year and month. As you know, when you have year and month on x-axis, and if you're not seeing that month, just click on this drill down. Okay, now I got year and month data on x-axis. Okay, let me turn on data labels as well so that I can see what's the data on a specific date. So 14,236.90 is the sales for Jan 2016. Okay, so let's see how it is showing the data. Let me take another tab just to validate the data. I'm just taking a tabular visual and a slicer as well. And in the slicer, I'll be using order date. Okay, and in the tabular visual, I need order date and sales. Okay, I don't want quarter. Okay, so we got it now. So if you see, I'd like to filter only for 2016 Jan. Okay, so if you see from 3rd Jan to 31st Jan, we have the data. Let's reduce this. Just move it up a bit. And if you see the data here, 14,236.90. Okay, so that's the sum of sales across Jan month in the database. So we have data for every date in that month. Jan 3rd we have 16.45, Jan 4th we have 280.06 and so on. Jan 31st we have 290.67. So after aggregating all of these values, you got 14,236.90, and that is what is being displayed on this graph. On 2016 Jan month, you're seeing 14,236.90. But now my requirement is I'd like to represent the data only on month ending dates. When I say month ending dates, it doesn't need to aggregate all the other values in that month. So on Jan 31st, I have 290.67. That's the value I'm expecting on this graph. Okay, let's see how we can do it. I'm just duplicating this step. Okay, so there is no way to represent the month ending date value directly on this graph without writing a measure. Okay, so let me just change the background color so that it would look good. Okay, so now I'm going to create a measure. You can click on some column on three dots and click on this new measure. So in the measure, I'm going to write give the measure name month ending sales, and then as you know we need to use calculate function. Inside the calculate function I'm going to use a DAX function which was recently added in the Microsoft monthly updates, which is closing balance month. Okay, closing balance month is a function which is used to evaluate the data corresponding to a month ending date. Okay, in your data you may have dates for every date in the month, and the data exists for every date in the month. But what it gonna consider is whatever value is there on month ending date that would be considered. Okay, so in the first argument it expects you to give this expression. I'm going to mention sum of sales. Okay, and then in the second argument it expects the date column. Okay, as I said, I'm going to use order date from the orders table. Okay, that's what is the measure. A simple measure which directly calculates the sales on month ending date of every month. Okay, I'm executing the measure. So measure was created. Now instead of the sales column which I have directly pulled from the orders table, which is this, I'll be using the measure I have created. Okay, now just to avoid confusion, let's convert the units into none for the data labels. Okay, decimal values would be two decimals. Okay, so now if you see 2016 Jan month, you got 290.67. Okay, that is the month ending date value of Jan month in 2016, which you have already seen here, right? 2016 Jan 31st is 290.67. We got the exact result on this graph here. Okay, this is how you can calculate the month ending sales from the data you have available. Okay, so now every month in this graph represents the month ending dates value, and that's what is my user's requirement. Okay, that's all for this video.